Hi guys!
Here we are.
How are you? It's nice to see you. Sorry we're a little bit late. We went out, we were snowing, we were shoveling this sidewalk, it snowed, and we had to shovel out, and then the dog came and ate the agenda, and I had to print out a new agenda. And
all of these are lies. Matthew was full
we
of
were
lies.
baking a cake and it burned, and we had to go.
We did bake a cake this morning.
Did not burn.
Did not burn, but
What?
you know what?
What? No,
I usually make this cake in Alaska.
Oh, it's called the zesty chocolate cake.
The zesty chocolate cake. But all of our food supplies in Alaska are usually pretty old, and so the baking soda, obviously, that I've always used in Alaska
from a different time,
is old, and it didn't rise. This cake, usually the cake is like this high.
Right.
It rose to be this big, and it took twice as long to bake because it was so soupy inside.
We also usually don't have certain ingredients. Any dairy we don't have in Alaska, and we don't have any fresh eggs. We have to use eggs made from powder. And the cake is still delicious in Alaska.
Yeah.
My curiosity is whether the cake will be less delicious with the fresh ingredients. We have perfected it with the funky ingredients.
All of the weird ingredients.
And are we
It might be too fluffy or something.
We might not like it.
Yeah.
We will let you know tomorrow how we feel about the cake.
Yes.
We could go get the cake and eat it now.
We
We could instead of hanging out with these guys.
That would sort of be mean and awful to these guys.
Oh, we just had someone apologizing for being late. Friends, Lamb and Turtle, we were late for both shows too.
Lamb and Turtle,
it's the kind of day it is.
You've been so early so many times. I feel like you have lots of credit in the bank.
No one ever has to apologize to us about anything.
Yeah.
This is all discretionary. This is low stress, low pressure. By not holding you to exacting standards, we are free to have absolutely no
standards
of quality or
no
punctuality.
But we do need to follow the agenda, so please.
We do care about you, and so we have brought structure to the
please. Hellos. Ugh.
Hello.
It's too late for that now, isn't it?
Hello. Just say hello.
Hello.
Didn't say resentful hellos.
It just didn't
while
say.
Looking
it didn't clarify either way. Uh-oh, I make a confession.
Yes, I'm sure that there is something you have not admitted to. Come on. Out with it right now. Tell us the thing that's true that they don't know.
I will confess to you something.
What is it?
I used to be a gigantic fan of ice cream, and I ate it all the time.
That's not much of a confession.
No, I'm not as much of a fan of ice cream as I used to be.
When did this happen?
Last time we had ice cream, I was like, I could just have one bite and be done.
Okay, so
I used to be able to eat like bowls with multiple scoops of ice cream. And I was just an ice cream fanatic.
Do you think after spending 20 years next to me, my dislike of ice cream has finally made it through the almost impenetrable boundary between us? And you're like, Matthew is right.
I'm really sad about
Matthew's
that.
been right all along.
I used to be quite passionate about ice cream.
Well, I like ice cream under certain circumstances. I think I pulled this off your computer.
You did.
And the circumstances are in the company of a warm and extremely fudgy brownie. Not any of this sort of dry, crumbly brownie stuff, but like a good, hearty brownie with chunks and gooey.
Wait, is this a confession of Matthew's?
I'm elaborating on your confession. All right. Thank you for confessing that to us.
You're welcome.
It's not a very shameful confession.
Well, I feel like there are lots of people who believe me to be still an ice cream fanatic.
Yeah.
Including, E's mom, who sent me ice cream once in the mail.
She sent you 4 things of, was it called Alden ice cream? I think it was called Alden ice cream. It was very fancy ice cream.
Very
fancy, very delicious.
And delicious.
I love you and want you to feel better ice cream because Robbie was sad.
Yeah.
What does this say? Theme song.
Oh.
That's what it says. Now on the last show, we drank the theme song and sung the water by doing them at the same time. Robbie failed in the fundamental challenge of drinking her water.
You didn't fill this up as much as last time.
There you go. Do you want me to give you a head start? Here, let me help you a little bit. All right, maybe now you can do it. All right, try to drink your water. No, it's not about drinking it fast. Just drink your water. Just drink your water as slow as you need to.
I gotta push the button for the theme song.
Here we go.
I'm gonna start.
All right, on your marks, get set, Drew.
The Robbie and Matthew Show.
Oh, you were closer. You were super. Oh, you almost did it. I'm afraid I can't.
I mostly just put all the rest in my mouth.
I can't give you a gold star.
I didn't actually swallow.
But I think you get like a red star or a green star.
I like green
One
stars.
of the lesser stars.
Yeah, I like little foil.
You were pretty close.
Stars.
Drink water. What does that say?
For goodness sakes.
For goodness sakes. For goodness sakes. I want to just put a little bit of drink that water.
I'm gonna finish mine.
Do the right thing.
I read somewhere, somebody who knows science, please tell me if I'm wrong or not. That when your cells are hydrated, so they're full of the right amount of water, they are less likely to attract or harbor the baddies, the germs or whatever's trying to get into your cells. Is that true? Maybe somebody made that up so that I would drink my water.
Oh my goodness, people are baking.
Oh wow, fudgy brownies.
And
don't tell me anything about
caramel
fudgy brownies.
rolls.
Yeah.
I'm trying very hard to eat fewer things like that. And Robbie went and made a zesty chocolate cake, which is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Oh,
sorry.
man. All right, friends. We are going to... Oh, El Puppy just reminded me that I'm supposed to keep my germs to myself these days. I'm not supposed to be availing myself of Robbie's water. So I just...
Oh, did you drink my water?
I did. Remember, I helped you.
Oh.
It was under the guise of giving you a head start.
All
but
right.
El Puppy, thank you for keeping me on my
Yes.
toes. That was an important public service announcement.
Yes.
Matthew reads chapter 3
Wait
of
a
Two's a
minute.
Crowd. What?
That's not fair. You got to read Rocket Fish and Clam in the last one.
Robbie will complain
I will. At any opportunity.
at any opportunity. So, because there's no one here to outvote me, and Robbie is a little bit frightening to me.
I am here to outvote
I am
you.
going to... No, it's a democracy. Therefore, we each have an equal vote.
Mine is bigger.
Yeah, yours is bigger. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So, all right. I was just outvoted
Banana
51
bread.
to 49%.
Oh my gosh. So
Stop
we got
it with the
banana
tempting
bread,
goods.
fudgy brownies, caramel rolls from scratch.
Why are these things... Oh, lemon bars. I love lemon bars. Why are these
I love
things
lemon bars
there
too.
instead of here? You
Yeah.
guys. All right. This is...
Yummy, yummy.
I consider this...
We should do like a recipe swap. Or
Should I get the
something.
cake to show them?
Black bean
Do you guys-
brownies. That sounds terrible.
Do you guys wanna see
Whose
Robbie's
idea
cake?
Was that?
All right,
Boys
Robbie.
actually ate them. Okay, so tell me this. Was the point of the black bean brownies to get children to eat black beans, which is just plain mean, or was there some other reason? I guess maybe beans are better than... I mean, beans and brownies, I guess, is healthier than just brownies.
This is crazy that the dusty chocolate cake
Yeah.
is so tall. Look at this, you guys. I can't say it's the most beautiful cake that's
No,
ever
but
been.
it's so delicious.
But it's going to be so delicious. On top there, is the sauce on already?
Yes, so don't dump it out
Okay.
onto my computer.
Okay, we're not going to dump the sauce, but we are going to eat this with spoons. We're going to tell the children that something bad happened to the cake, and so that they can't have any, and we're just going to keep it in here.
We're going to eat it with spoons.
All right, we're going to eat it with spoons.
What?
We don't have any ice cream.
No,
I wish we
I
had some
know.
ice cream.
I know.
All right, if you want to send us some ice cream. No, don't do that.
Don't send us ice
Don't
cream.
send us ice cream. All right, we're going
Ah.
to have Robbie do a little reading, and then we'll do some
Okay.
more things.
All right.
All right, Robbie Bear.
Banana bread with chocolate chips.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody wants us to read it together. We could do that.
What would that even mean?
You could read like the Milton or the Moxie parts, and I could read the.
I
I,
mean-
like reading the Milton parts.
You're the
Yeah,
best at the
cute
Milton
little
parts.
boys.
All right, I will hold the book, and you can join in with the... I don't know if there's any Milton. Yes, there is. All right.
Oh, yesterday,
Yes?
Matt De La Pena's wife, Mrs.
Yeah, what did she do?
Made pound cake.
Oh, well,
I
my
mean, all us.
goodness.
Everybody's baking.
This is great.
Baking.
Baking, not bacon. We
We
learned about
bacon in the last one.
tragedy bacon or misery bacon or disaster bacon.
Sad bacon.
Sad bacon?
Yeah.
Tragedy bacon.
Tragedy bacon, is
Depression bacon.
Stress bacon.
Glum
Stress bacon.
Stress bacon.
Stress bacon.
Basically, it's just eating anything and then
Yes.
gaining weight.
And what was the word? Speck.
Yeah,
Kummerspeck.
Kummerspeck. Because we learned
Kummerspeck
German.
in German.
We taught everybody how to speak fluent German in the previous episode. You guys should watch that one too.
We even learned the word for a regional
Chimney sweep
chimney
manager.
sweep manager.
What? That's a word in Germany.
I'm telling you, you
All right.
guys, we're learning all kinds of stuff. Okay.
Chapter 3.
Goodness
Here we go.
gracious.
Let us launch
Here we
in.
go. Yes.
And Robbie, special guest Robbie, reading the voice
Reading
of
the
Milton.
voice of Milton.
Because she does a good Milton, I got to admit. Chapter 3. The Squiggler. The Squiggler, friends. The day moves slower than the week leading up to my birthday. All I want to do is work on Emily's case, but instead I'm stuck listening to a person who refuses to behave like a teacher and might be a deranged kidnapper. My classmates do the same irritating, distracting, rule-breaking, fourth-grade things they always do, but no one gets a death stare. No one loses an L point. With Mrs. Bunyan, you always knew where you stood, right in the middle of her own private dartboard. But no matter what we do, Mr. Shine just keeps on smiling. While he interrogates Donna about her love of mermaids, I think about Emily's letter. One thing doesn't add up. In my experience, people don't usually do nice things just for the sake of it. Sometimes that seem well-intentioned end up being exactly the opposite. In Annabelle Adams' Girl Detective, Volume 6, Death by Envelope, everyone in the peaceful town of historic Blevin gets an anonymous invitation to a croquet-themed summer picnic to be held in the scenic countryside. Since all the envelopes have teddy bear stamps, everyone assumes that the person who sent them must be extremely nice and trustworthy. But of course, the person who sent them is Dr. Fungo, who is the opposite of nice and allergic to trust. While all the cheerful citizens play croquet and wait for someone to serve cold cuts, Fungo's army of menacing robotic henchmen flattens historic Blevin with lasers and uses the rubble to build a factory that manufactures uncomfortable shoes. The similarities between Annabelle's story and Emily's situation are impossible to ignore. Which means someone is trying to trick Emily into thinking they are nice and good and well-meaning. Which means I need to help figure out who it is before my best friend gets historically flattened. The lunch bell rings. Emily, Milton, and I get our trays and find an empty table. Here's the situation, I say. We have no clues, no broken glass, no bloody fingerprints, no blind witnesses who can describe the sound of the criminal's jagged breathing.
Jagged breathing?
Asks Milton. It's possible he had a respiratory ailment.
He?
There's a 50% chance that the criminal was a he. Milton looks at me with exasperation.
Criminal?
Everyone knows it's unethical and maybe even illegal to leave important documents unsigned. Emily looks distraught.
Ooh, can I be Emily too?
Yeah.
I don't want him or her to get in trouble. This is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me.
I admit it seems nice, but it could be the first step in a dastardly plan to... I can't tell whether or not to tell Emily how much danger she's in. For the time being, I downplay the peril. Replace the mayor with a less effective mayor. Emily gasps. The point is, we know nothing.
We know a few things.
Says Milton.
Like what?
Says Emily, her big eyes full of hope.
Usually, letters have stamps on them.
Milton is right. There is no stamp, which means that...
Whoever wrote this letter, put it in your mailbox.
Which means whoever it is probably doesn't live in Argentina, I add.
You guys are good.
Says Emily.
How long were you out of town?
Asks Milton. Emily.
Oh, 3 days?
So there's no way... Oh, this is all Milton, sorry.
So there's no way of knowing when during that time the letter was delivered.
Milton is right. This case keeps getting tougher. Criminals often return to the scene of the crime, I say. I know this because Annabelle has, on 6 separate occasions, caught crooks who were cackling wickedly at the scene of a crime instead of hiding out in a rundown motel on the outskirts of town.
But has there been a crime?
Asks Emily. For now, let's call it an incident, I say.
Or maybe some nice person sent Emily a nice note.
Says Milton, shooting me an irritated look. Emily looks relieved, which is the worst possible outcome. What Milton is suggesting is technically possible, but much more likely this is the first step in a string of diabolical deeds designed to ensure Emily's tragic downfall, I say, deciding that the only way to keep my best friend safe is to tell the absolute truth. Emily looks extremely worried. Milton places his hand gently on her shoulder.
As Danny Dogood often observes, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. That makes sense,
Says Emily, looking at Milton as if he said something really wise. Ooh! I'm mad as a cold foot in a wet sock. Danny is undoing everything Annabelle might have taught Milton, and Milton is undoing everything I'm trying to teach Emily. There is another clue, I say, pointing to the envelope.
What?
Asks Emily. Look at this purple squiggle. On one hand, it could be nothing,
But on the other hand, it could be something.
says Milton. Exactly. Finally, Milton has said something useful. Now that we have a few clues, I'm hoping he'll use his great big brain to tie them all together. I look at him. He looks at me. The great big brain seems to have nothing.
The only connection we have to the squiggler is the mailbox,
Says Milton. I'm excited. Suddenly, my nemesis has a name. The Squiggler. And Milton is right. The Squiggler must have put the mysterious letter in Emily's mailbox.
But how do we figure out who the squiggler is?
Asks Emily. That is the question I'm chewing on as lunch ends, and Emily and I walk back to class, and Mr. Shine continues to investigate our insides with his endless questions. "Who's next?" asked Mr. Shine, looking around the room before resting his eyes on Megan. "What's something about you that no one else knows, Megan?"
One time I swallowed 4 quarters.
"Oh? Why?"
I wanted to see what happened.
"And what happened?"
Nothing at first.
"And then?"
They eventually came back out.
How interesting. Finally, the day ends, and I meet Milton in front of the school. As we walk home, I want to talk about our case, but Milton has other ideas.
To continue our conversation from earlier...
About the squiggler?
No, about our lack of business.
I'm tempted to point out that we have just landed a new fantastic case, but apparently Milton is not done.
Maybe we need to make ourselves seem like an official detective agency.
I like the sound of that. Go on.
I was thinking that maybe we should be partners.
The word makes me shudder. Partners are equal. Partners are approximately the same height. Partners wear identical hats. Milton is at best a sidekick, and at worst a lackey. Milton comes up to my elbow. Milton is positively gnomish. I do the hard work, collecting clues, intimidating suspects, and gathering essential evidence. Milton does all the easy stuff, analyzing the data, connecting the dots, and reaching the conclusions. Don't get me wrong, he can be useful, but as a partner, he is not. Milton looks up at me with the eyes of a bunny that thinks he's about to get a carrot, and I know I need to let him down easy. Maybe someday, I say. No need to rush things. First, you need to complete your training. Milton scowls. I do not blame him. It's no fun to be a sidekick, but he has to pay his dues. When she was in training, Annabelle had to lick and seal 500 envelopes without taking a single sip of water, and then had to stand completely still, without even saying ouch, while a cheerful grandmother pinched her cheek 900 times to prove everlasting dedication to her mentor and sensei, a ninja named Ninja. Apparently, though, Milton is not done.
If people knew that I was a full partner, that there were 2 detectives, I think it might help business.
But since he doesn't seem to be getting to the point, I talk a little louder. This agency needs only 1 detective, and make no mistake, the sidekick is optional.
You know I don't like being called a sidekick.
Would you prefer lackey? I know that Milton does not prefer lackey.
No, I would not.
I am about to ask Milton how he would feel about gnomish when a girl named Shelby rushes up to us on the sidewalk, looking like she is being chased by a herd of extremely hungry jackals.
Help! Help! I need your help!
All right, that's it. That's the end of
Dun, dun,
chapter
dun.
3. We will find out tomorrow what is wrong with poor
Dun,
Shelby.
dun, dun.
Before you go too far away from this page, will
Yes.
you go to the one right before? Because
Okay.
one of my favorite things in this book,
Oh
the
my
subject
gosh.
of a mug. I had to.
How many burps?
Was that 2 or 3? It was
was
sort of
a
like
lot.
a brrr. It was like a little murmur of burps. I don't think they heard the burps. Even if you hadn't drawn attention to them. This is where we're talking about Milton being an optional sidekick. So Robbie and I did a little run here. Why don't you move up there for a second? On redundancy. Do you know what redundancy is? It's when you say something. It's when two things are not
doing the same
are
thing.
not both necessary.
Yes.
Exactly. So one could argue for this show to be effective, you didn't actually need Matthew because Robbie's own magnificence
Wrong.
renders
We
the
need
show.
both of us. We are both crucial
we're
to the
not-
show.
we're not redundant?
If there were another Matthew, the second Matthew would be redundant.
Oh my gosh, the other Matthew could sit on the other side of Robbie
And just torture
and
me will
read
be
2
the worst.
agendas.
Yeah.
So that's not
No,
a good. That would be
that's out of
redundant.
balance.
2
That would be-
Matthews is
yes,
redundant.
yes.
A Matthew and a Robbie is complementary.
Yes.
So here we have things that are. I guess these are obsolete. Some of
Well,
these.
these
Yeah.
are
Oh, I see.
optional sidekicks, right?
Optional. And why are they optional, Robbie?
Because, okay, so 8-Track is the first sidekick. He's got a cape.
Do you guys know what 8-tracks are?
8-tracks
it's a
are...
almost prehistoric version
Yes,
of music
it's
storage.
the very first way to have portable recorded music. So if you wanted to listen to a specific song in your car, like the Robbie and Matthew theme song, you would have to put it on an 8-track, and then you would have to have an 8-track player in your car, and the 8-track is like a cartridge, and you'll go kunk, into your car, and then you could play the 8-track.
A cartridge is a piece of plastic with the chips inside, and you
tape
slid it in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
an 8-track in this day and age is useless.
Because there's no 8-track players anymore.
Yes.
All right.
And the reason it says Meatloaf on it is because Meatloaf is a musician who really peaked in the era of 8-tracks.
Okay. All right.
Some will argue with me, I'm sure, and think that Meatloaf
is still relevant today.
Relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
But definitely a sidekick.
Dot matrix. What is dot matrix, Robbie?
Dot matrix is a kind of printer that prints out in little dots. It prints the letters out in little dots, but the dots are so far apart, it's not very clear, and it makes a really great sound. The paper had little tearaway tabs that had little punch holes in it, a whole bunch of little punch holes, and then so the paper went through like this with punch holes, and that's how it fed it through the printer, and it would make this sound that the little cartridge head would go.
Wait, were you once a dot matrix printer in a previous life? Because that was so
obsolete.
So obsolete, something that's obsolete is no longer relevant. It is no longer useful. It's not in the right time anymore. It no longer works.
Sorry about this phone.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Chai tea, friends. Chai tea. You've probably heard of or had at a cafe or just know that it exists. Chai, in I don't know which language, I'm afraid, actually means tea. So chai tea.
Calling it chai tea is like calling it tea.
And that's when I was getting back to earlier with redundancy. So that would be the Robbie and Matthew and Matthew show. Yes, we don't need that.
Yes.
And the appendix
Yes.
is an organ in your body that
on your right-hand side
that apparently is not actually necessary.
It's a little hanging little bit of something on the tail. It's the tail end of a different organ.
Did it used to do something? Can somebody tell us? Was the appendix
I don't think anybody knows.
formerly useful?
It's a
Somebody's got to know. Anyway, sometimes your appendix can go wrong and it hurts, and you got to take it out.
Yes.
So, and then when you take it out, you don't miss
You're
it.
fine.
Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, we have things that are useless, obsolete, redundant, and unnecessary.
Yes.
And Moxie thinks all of those things of Milton because she still has not grown to value him sufficiently.
Yes.
As you know, discerning reader, Milton is important, but Moxie can't quite wrap that around her. Can't quite remember that. She can't remember that for more than one book. Why am I doing that? All right, let's see. What's happening next, friends?
Wait, I wanted to see if there were some other some other things that I wanted to point out.
Wanted to show up? Yeah.
I like those wolves chasing the.
There was something I wanted to show. I thought.
What was it? Maybe.
I mean, I like lots of these illustrations.
You know what? I wanted to show sort of the close-up of the people playing croquet.
Oh, look at that. Robbie loves making silhouettes.
I love making these little silhouettes. So here's the story, right? Fungo's army of menacing robotic henchmen. They're all over there. Wait, where's my there we go. They're all over here. Look at these robots they've got laser vision eyes. They've knocked down the church tower.
It's really rude.
And then there's a new factory that they built. It's a shoe factory.
Uncomfortable shoes.
Yeah. So high heel shoes, which are uncomfortable. If any of you have worn high heel shoes,
it's like a mean trick.
They're the worst. It's a mean trick.
Oh, I like how Matthew is not even entirely in the. Oh no, I see. There's just a line through my face.
Yeah,
here we
there
go.
we go.
Okay.
And then we've got all the people playing croquet down here.
Unsuspecting.
Down below, they're having a good time while their town is just being destroyed.
Oh, I think the robots are coming from them later. They're just getting rid of the factory first. Yeah.
Because I think, let's see, there was an earlier version of there's the town.
In Massachusetts, all of the towns have signs that look like this, and you have like historic.
Florida. There's a town called Florida that was the next town.
But everything is historic. Yeah. It is historic this, historic that. So I just wanted to have historic Blevin. Blevin is the least inspiring town name I could think of. I'm sorry if your name is Blevin. If there are any, I'm sure you are inspiring. But the town of historic Blevin is maybe less so in my mind.
All right.
Every time, yes. What do we? Let's look to the readers.
Oh, chai is tea in Russian.
In Russian?
There we go.
That's not the language I was thinking of, though.
I thought it was some sort of
Southeast Asian
language.
What do we have here?
But it could also, there's words that are the same in multiple languages.
Once again, this agenda I wrote, we don't really have time for it. Okay. Let's see what people. Do we have some jokes? Do we have some?
There's people who know Russian. There's people who love chai.
Okay.
Oh, look.
Oh.
El Puppy with the research. Thank you, El Puppy.
All right, thank you.
New research supports the idea that the appendix may indeed serve a purpose to protect the beneficial bacteria living in the gut.
Well, there
we
you
are
go.
so mean to our gut bacteria these
We
days.
are. And it makes sense that the appendix would do something that we just didn't quite
care
understand
about.
yet.
Yes.
So you can survive with it, but you might not survive as well. I would
Yes.
like to answer the question that is raised about the Annabelle stories.
Oh, good
okay.
for you.
For one day, when I was sitting over there, when my desk used to be there, I was writing away at the Real McCoys, and I said, I love Annabelle. She makes me so happy. I think she's so great. And Robbie said, well, why don't you write one of her stories? And I said, I'm not going to do that. I've got busy things to do. I'm important.
This is all untrue.
What? Oh, it is?
I feel like we've done this before, and you've told this fake story before.
Wow. Okay. Well,
The
this is
story
how I remember
was,
it. I'm not trying to
Matthew
deceive
likes
anybody.
to be busy with 12,000 different things at any given time. And if he only has 11,999 things to do, he's not satisfied.
I'm not coming off very well in this story.
So, I'm just saying,
Okay.
he was sitting around being very fidgety because he was like, I don't know what to write next.
I'm always
we
very
don't-
relaxed.
Yes, we don't have any projects upcoming, and nobody is telling me what I need to write, and I don't know what to write.
You should get through this part to the part where we talk about Annabelle.
There was a lot of fretting.
Yeah.
And so I said, for goodness sakes, man, just write an Annabelle Adams story.
And I said,
if you're trying to stab
I'm
around
not going to
looking
do
for
that.
things
It's
to
a
do.
waste of time.
Yes, nobody's going to buy that story because we already have the Real McCoys. Mm-hmm. And I said, sometimes it's nice to just write things to write them.
And this is what I reject Robbie's idea, and I say, she didn't know what she's talking about. And then my fingers are like, and about a week later, I had like
had
the
a
first
great
few
story.
chapters
The first-
of Annabelle Adams,
yes.
book 1, Meet Annabelle Adams, and then a few months later, I had the whole thing.
Yes.
And so it exists. Annabelle
Yes.
Adams, Volume 1 exists. You can read it for free right now today at realmccoysbook.com. Click on the Annabelle Adams
I'm going
link.
to send
Here
you
we
the
go.
link.
All right. There are 17 chapters. Don't start with chapter
Don't
17.
start with chapter 17.
In the right-hand sidebar, there's all the chapters in order. So, Robbie's sending you the link to
sending
chapter
you
1
to
right
chapter
now.
1.
You guys,
But you know what?
without being braggy, I think it's one of the favorite things
wonderful.
I've ever written. It's
I love
super
it.
funny. It's off the hook.
Yes.
It's weird.
Off the hook.
Off the
You
hook.
can't say that right.
I meant,
You're writing.
what did I mean to say? It's off the hook. I thought I was saying. I thought I was saying that it was like unrestrained by
Wow.
an agenda.
We just went back to the 1990s.
Let's put it in an 8-track. What era is off the hook? Is it the 8-track
I
era?
believe
It's not
it's
quite
a little
aligned.
past the
All right.
8-track
What I'm saying is I like it. I think
Yes.
it's good.
I like it too. It's super funny.
would like you
and
to
you know
read
what?
it.
If
What?
we finish the Real McCoys and we're still doing
We'll
this,
read it.
we'll read
Yeah.
it as the
It makes us
follow-up
happy.
to the Real McCoys. When did you decide to incorporate it inside the Real McCoys? It's just a neat idea.
Oh, from the very beginning, I think I needed a way to show why Moxie thought she could be a great detective. She read these books. She loved them. She admired Annabelle and wanted to be like Annabelle. So in many ways, Moxie takes her ordinary life with very little drama or excitement and creates drama and excitement so that she can have the feeling of being like Annabelle, a swashbuckling, crime-solving, hard-nosed world saver.
Yes.
So she wants to be like Annabelle, but her world is different from Annabelle's world. So she has to make
The
her world.
stakes are a little bit
Yeah.
lower for
And
Moxie.
Annabelle works alone for the most
Yeah.
part. So one of the reasons that Moxie thinks she should work alone is that Annabelle solves problems by herself. So Annabelle's a bad role model in some ways because she's so self-sufficient. And in fact, Annabelle relies on others several times in the course of the first Annabelle book. So I think Moxie is taking a sort of selective interpretation to the Annabelle's independence. If you ask me, you didn't ask me, but I'm telling you anyway. What else do we have? Do we have no jokes today? Is this the day
we
of
have
no
jokes.
jokes?
We have jokes at the very top, but I wanted to point a few things out.
Okay.
Francesca, or
Yes.
Francesca, some people say Francesca.
Okay.
I don't know how you say it.
We don't know how you say it.
Is doing us a solid
Well,
by suggesting to everyone to like this video and subscribe.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
I would.
We never tell people to do that because we always forget.
You are correct. That
Do
is
that.
the right
That's
way to do
what
it.
people are supposed to do on YouTube.
So yeah,
We
if-
appreciate
if
it.
you want to do those things, great.
Go ahead and do those
Yeah,
things.
thank you.
All right. Next.
Yes.
Somebody made spoon cake.
Oh, I love spoon cake.
We've made
spoon
spoon
bread.
bread. I wonder if it's the same thing or not.
I like monkey bread and spoons. I like spoons and monkeys. All the things.
All right.
Yeah, and cake.
Okay.
Yes. Anything else?
Oh, El Puppy says you don't yawn because you're tired. You yawn because your brain is hot. Is that true, El Puppy? El Puppy's
Your brain
full of
is hot?
clues.
Wow. All right, I got to get to the jokes before we're out of time. Come on,
Sorry,
come on,
sorry,
friends.
sorry.
Come on.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
How do you get a tissue to dance? I think you know this one.
Do you give it a little boogie?
You put a little boogie in it.
Put a little boogie in it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Our
all right.
children really like that one.
Yeah,
that's why we've
that's
heard that
funny.
one before. Okay. Why can't your head be 12 inches long?
Because it would be so hot that you'd yawn all the time and your mouth would fall off. Why can't? Because then it would be a foot.
Yes. Very good. What can you catch but never throw?
A cold.
You're so good at this.
Well, today,
What animal can you always find at a baseball game?
a dugout monkey.
No.
A bat.
Yes,
A bat.
although I really am curious about the dugout monkey.
I mean, you should draw a dugout monkey as the closing gesture of the tomorrow's show, perhaps.
Yes.
I'll put it in the agenda.
We're never going to remember that, a dugout monkey.
Anything else? Did we
yes.
do it? Yeah?
Mr. Funny Pants tells us, is giving us some language lessons.
Okay.
Keen.
Like K-E-E-N?
K-E-N. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Okay.
But keen means yes in Hebrew.
Oh, and I wish I had to pronounce it. Keen. So, Robbie, ask me a question.
Am I the greatest?
Keen.
Well done.
There you go. Robbie.
There's a town called Keene.
In New Hampshire, but
Yes.
that has an E.
But it's spelled
K-E-E-N-E.
different. Okay.
But also to be keen is to...
Oh, yeah, to be keen on something.
is to like it. To approve of it.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's from the same...
I don't know.
Oh.
What?
One entry later, Mr. Funny Pants says, oops, Kane, I mean.
Kane?
Kane, K-A-N-E.
Kane.
Kane.
Kane. Okay, well, I feel like I've got to
Am I the
adjust...
greatest?
Kane.
Okay, that's
There
better.
you go.
All right.
Hey, I want to say that Francesca's endorsement resulted in one additional like.
Oh, well done.
So thank you, friends. We do like the likes. You make us feel good about ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, wait. William has one more joke.
Okay.
What do you call it when a cat runs straight at you?
Meow! Feline too muchity.
Feline is right.
A feline. There's making a feline for you instead of a beeline for
Yes,
you.
well, it's a feline beeline.
A feline beeline.
Yeah, very
Nice.
good, Matthew.
All
All
right.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Is that it? Have we? Do you want for the second consecutive day? The second half of the agenda is just in tatters.
we didn't get to it.
There's such exciting content here that we'll just
guys,
have to save for
we
a day with a
just-
shorter
yeah,
chapter.
we
Hey,
had-
here's a question: did you guys like it when we sort of read together, or was that tedious? Give us some feedback.
I liked it.
Well, I care
But
about.
wait, there's one more thing.
What is it?
That there was somebody who played an awful trick, and where is it?
On us?
No.
Oh.
On his sister?
Oh, well, that's not very nice.
Oh, it was Francesca.
Oh, Francesca. I like Francesca for endorsing
Yes,
likes.
thank
yes.
you.
Okay.
Francesca made mashed potatoes and pranked my sis by telling her that it's vanilla ice cream.
Oh.
That is just wrong.
And what happened? Did she disown you and leave for
Yes,
Cleveland?
she should have been done with you.
I
after
would have
that.
gone to
I would have
Cleveland.
been so
Yeah.
mad.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna go
Okay.
now.
Wait, greatest isn't a word?
What? Greatest is a word. Greatest is a word. Greatest.
I'm starting
is
to
a word.
doubt El Puppy's
El Puppy, you are
research.
compromising your credibility now.
All right.
All right.
All right. Oh, look, El Puppy wants a one-person read.
Oh,
Too
well,
distracting.
if
All
you
right,
if you disagree with her and would like to put some
Oh, look, can we do a Zoom meeting with the Real McCoys readers and viewers? We'll have to figure out how to do that.
Yes, we can. It's not hard to do.
We can. I just don't want other people. I've heard about people like jumping into
Zoom
Zoom meetings.
jumping.
We'd have to like private message all of you how to do it.
Yeah.
I think
we'll
we
figure
know
out a way
most
to do
of
it.
you.
We will do it. Is the
Yes.
answer? Maybe we'll do it
Oh,
on a weekend
you know
sometime.
what? If you want to do a Zoom with us, email us at info@robbieandmatthew.com
And let us know.
and let us know, and
then
we
we'll put
will
you in that group.
Put you in the Zoom
Yeah.
group.
Say I want to be in the Zoom group, and that way we can keep it behind closed doors.
Okay.
And not
Yes.
risk
And get your parents' permission.
chaos. Yes. All right.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, friends.
We love you guys.
We do.
Have a good rest of. Oh my gosh, what is Wednesday?
Yeah.
This is very confusing.
This is what's happening
This is
once
what
we
we're
get off
getting-
the call.
Oh, Matthew, the icing is.
Oh my gosh.
You're the worst.
It didn't go
That
out,
was
but it was
very close.
very, very dangerous.
Very
and
close. Two-bit person for us.
All right, goodbye, friends.
All right, goodbye.
Bye,
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.